I would like to call this special village board meeting of Tuesday, April 7th, 2026 to order. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Trustee Schmidt.
Here.
Trustee Siddiqui.
Here.
Trustee Light.
Here.
Trustee Meritato.
Here.
Trustee Matrasco.
Here.
Trustee Viacon.
Here.
Madam Mayor Gianelli.
Here. Please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We now move on to public discussion of agenda items. Is there anyone in the public that would like to address this board on an agenda item only?
So Mayor and Board, just so everybody understands why Deputy Chief Pentecost is here. He's here in replacement of Chief Pappas. Chief Pappas and the other administrative staff are down in Chicago tonight at the 100 Club of Chicago, where two of our police officers who performed the water rescue back in January are receiving an award at the 100 Club of Chicago. So
Wonderful.
Mike drew the short straw, I guess, and got stuck here.
Voluntold.
But the other staff and the chief are down at the 100 Club of Chicago with the officers.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Deputy Chief.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, new business. Item 1, approval of the fiscal year 2026-2027 non-union pay plan. Is there a motion to approve fiscal year 2026-2027 non-union pay plan?
So
Trustee Meritato?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Is that you, Trustee Siddiqui?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion, board? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Siddiqui.
Yes.
Trustee Light.
Yes.
Trustee Meritato.
Yes.
Trustee Matrasco.
Yes.
Trustee Viacon.
Yes.
Trustee Schmidt.
Yes.
The motion to approve fiscal year 2026-2027 non-union pay plan is approved. Item 2, a resolution to adopt an early retirement incentive for the Village of Glendale Heights, Illinois, IMRF employer ID number 04487. This is resolution 2026-R-39. Peter, are you going to walk us through it?
Yeah, I have just a brief presentation to kind
Wonderful,
of go over
thank
through
you.
it a little bit.
Okay.
So, kind of the background, Andrea kind of came up with the idea initially because she noticed that we had a fund balance in IMRF that we could only be utilized towards a plan like this. So we had $1.3 million available as a fund balance that we could utilize towards a plan. And we started discussing this plan. So we kind of had two goals that kind of came out of this. The one is to reduce headcount and create financial flexibility, so basically save money. And 2 is they allow the village to reorganize the organization to meet the current and future needs of the village. So on the first part, we have approximately 18 employees who have agreed to take the ERI. We had extensive meetings as a team as department heads and individually as department heads. We did some positional analysis, and we believe we can eliminate 5 to 6 positions without affecting service levels. And the goal is to bring in new employees at an average of level 2. We have 8 steps, so we would like to bring them in at level 2. So between those two things, as well as the corresponding benefits, for this year's savings, so FY27, we can save $345,680. And in fiscal year 28, we can save almost $600,000. It's important to note that the ERI costs, they have sort of a waiting period while they determine who takes it and all the things. So those ERI costs don't actually start until 2030. So we have 3, I wouldn't call them 3 years, but 3 years where we are saving the money from the position reorganization without having to pay the additional cost to IMRF. Andrea is going to be putting a little bit towards it just to kind of make sure that we don't fall behind and that we're kind of just being fiscally responsible, but the major cost doesn't start till 2030. Over the life of the 10-year payback plan, plus the additional 3 years of savings, the village will save approximately $8.5 million, or an average of $293,000 per year. Any change to the head count must be approved by the village board during the budgeting process. So if we decide that 2 years from now, hey, actually, we need to bring back one of these positions that we cut, there will be protection for that, because you guys will have to approve the new hiring of that position during the budgeting process. So there is that kind of oversight that you guys have to sort of help us control these costs, so we don't go crazy and start just adding new positions. And this is what we were kind of talking about. As you can see on this, and it's in your packet, we save a significant amount of money by doing this. So in fiscal 28, it said it was almost $600,000. 29, 618, and if you go all the way out to fiscal year 39, which is when this plan would end, you're looking at an $880,000 annual savings over this plan. So
What page is it on, Pete?
that would be, that's the attachment. It's not the budget, it's the memo that I wrote.
Oh, okay.
It's the Exhibit A.
Do they have it?
No, it's in an email.
No, they must not have it on
Okay.
there.
Oh,
In the packet?
That email,
In the
right?
packet and diligent, I mean?
Exhibit A. It's on Diligent, yeah.
Oh, okay, got you.
So Exhibit A shows the cost savings. This is actually more than we originally predicted that we would save, and that is for a couple different reasons. Number one, we had one person ultimately decline to take the ERI, so that was a savings from our cost of having to pay the ERI. And we also were able to kind of put our heads together and cut an additional position. So those two costs together really increased our costs. And Andrea, because we had a better feel for what everything was gonna cost, she was a little less conservative in some of her assessments, some of her analysis, because we felt pretty strongly about the numbers. So because of that, you can see it kind of compounds and accelerates itself, and we really see some major savings down the line.
Pete,
So-
also, these savings are from the insurance side, based on everybody taking the family plan too, right? So there's even more savings that could be here as we hire younger staff to replace retiring staff that are not married, are in single plans, not on family plans. So we figured this in at the highest level plans we could pay.
Got it.
This also gives us an opportunity to reshape this organization. So we can eliminate those 5 to 6 positions without affecting service levels, but we are also going to upskill or realign between 5 to 7 positions. And we also, within this plan, are maintaining flexibility. So we have that sort of baseline head count, but we have built in some flexibility. So if we decide, well, actually Public Works needs a frontline employee instead of an engineer, we can make that flexibility without affecting the bottom line salary. So we're kind of building that in, so as we go, we can make sure that we are properly staffed and at the same time not affecting our bottom line savings. So we've built that flexibility in. And we've already begun the process of upskilling, so we presented this to you guys privately in December. You guys gave us some direction. So we already started this process, and actually Michael is the very first person that we've hired. So we've upskilled it from an entry-level accountant to sort of like a mid-level accountant. And Michael has a CPA, which is a great thing to add to our organization. We went from 0 CPAs when I got here, now we have 2 CPAs. So that's a huge upskill. And we're also working on upskilling and then realignment as well. So for example, the purchasing agent using Tyler Technologies has like a database of contracts and stuff built into it. A lot of what Darcy's job was keeping track of contracts. Now that we're having that automated, that position can take on other responsibilities. So we're switching it from a purchasing agent to a management analyst who will have a lot of like project-based duties. One thing that they'll be doing is, next year, Andrea's not gonna have to put together the PowerPoint. She'll just be able to give the analyst the data, and the analyst will be able to put together the budget PowerPoint, so she's not spending a whole week or plus putting together a PowerPoint. So we're trying to create more versatile, upskilled staff. And we think that this is really going to add a lot of value to the organization. One thing I do want to talk about is you guys are all provided an IMRF based analysis. That number is a lot more than what we're projecting. And the reason because of that is they are assuming that all 38 eligible employees are going to take it. We did the work. There's only 18 people are going to take it. I would be the only thing we've heard is there might be somebody interested in not taking it, but we don't know exactly how that's going to happen. But it's going to be no more than 18 people. And it also doesn't include that cost in our IMRF reserve. So although you guys have to review that analysis to approve it, our analysis actually shows it's going to be a $2.488 million spend instead of the $7.83 million spend that they show, just because we've done our own internal analysis. A lot of organizations who would adopt this adopt it first, and then they go around and ask everybody who's going to take it. Because I've had some knowledge and experience about this process, we actually did it reverse. So we asked if everybody was interested and got those numbers before offering it to make sure that we're not going to get ourselves in any sort of financial crunch because of it. So like I said, with the changes to the organization, we're going to save about $8.5 million over the life of the 13-year plan. So I'm really comfortable with that. And we went through the numbers, Andrea and I pushed her on the numbers to make sure that, you know, it was not too good to be true, but these are legit numbers, and we're really confident that we can provide the savings to the village. So you guys have two resolutions that you have to pass. One is the resolution approving the plan. The other one is the resolution approving the 10-year payback period. So you guys have to approve those two resolutions, which we will then send to IMRF to officially start the program. So do you guys have any questions?
I do.
Yeah.
If we can go back by one slide.
Sure.
I think, so all the things that I'm hearing are essentially really great things for the organization in terms of cost savings, in terms of upskilling, making sure that we're providing professional and well-trained and forward-facing individuals to support the needs of the community. The last bullet, I'd like to just ask that we be very thoughtful and sensitive, especially as a lot of the staff who are retiring have been here for many, many years, have deep relationships, deep wells of knowledge, and also cross over into many other channels. So for example, I know Darcy works hand in hand with all of our departments. So as we kind of transition to this space of Tyler doing more of the lift, I know that historically we've had some challenges, making sure that we all feel really comfortable in Tyler, making sure that the staff feels well supported. So I would just ask that, as I know you would already, but I would just ask from the board's perspective that we're sensitive and thoughtful about, working with our department heads, our staff, our frontline staff who are very used to having that friendly Darcy at the end of the phone to ask questions and get that support, that we make sure that we're filling that gap for them so that there's not this sense of, and good luck with that, right?
There
We want to make sure that they're,
person there. It would just be, instead of being 100% of the job, it's going to be 50% of their job.
Sure.
So, we like you said, we did a position analysis for all these positions to make sure
Sure.
we're not missing anything. So we did hear that loud and clear from different departments that they
Yeah.
still need that support. So that person is still going to be there. It's just
Excellent.
going to be a smaller portion of their job than when Darcy was 100% of Darcy's
Exactly.
job. It's going to be 50% of this
got
person's
it,
job.
okay.
We also, to be perfectly transparent, now that you guys approved it, we're going to be doing some. Jenny's talking about maybe doing like a road show of going to different departments
Yes.
and kind of making sure that people understand that why we're doing this, what we're
Yes.
doing, and then also letting people know that like just because we're changing a position or getting rid of a position doesn't mean we didn't see value in it. It's just that we've had so many different changes between software and different skills that we maybe there's more value in a different way of looking at something.
100%.
So we are we're already committed. Jenny and I have had the conversations, committed about socializing this with our employees and explaining to them what the process is. But
Sounds
it had to
good.
be approved by you guys first before
Yeah.
we did that stuff. But
Board, any other questions for Pete, sir?
Is there buy-in from ASME on this?
We've had preliminary conversations with them. Once it's approved, we will have further discussions with them. But we've had preliminary discussions that they know this is coming. They know there's gonna be some changes. We expect them to have some thoughts, but in our contract, we can like transfer people within the contract. We can move some stuff around without, affecting the provisions of the contract, but they are aware it's coming.
We actually have a meeting with them on Thursday.
Andrea, I'm sorry, you wanted to say something?
Oh, I just wanted to add that Pete and I went around to different divisions and talked to them about their purchasing needs and what they need from us. So we did that before we really got too deep into the ERI program with employees.
I love the idea of the roadshow and really making sure that we're touching base in person and just being thoughtful and sensitive. Again, there's been a lot of change and we know that we're going in the direction that we want to as an organization, but it doesn't make it any easier for the staff who's left to do the actual work. We just want to be thoughtful about that.
And
Thank you.
people are they take ownership and pride in their jobs.
Yeah.
So we understand that, I've been doing this job for 20 years and you're telling me that now we're gonna do it differently.
Yeah.
We have to be able to kind of explain the thought process behind that and let people know that we're doing this for a reason and we've already prepared to do that.
Excellent.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Trustee Meritato?
What are we saving on the first year?
It was $340,000 in the first year.
Okay, is that after all the employees we hire?
So
Or
it's,
is that with the employees?
that is after the employees that will be hired for this year. So there's some employees who are not gonna be hired to fiscal year 28.
So the one thing that, the reason for the 340 this year and not the 540 you see in the subsequent years, right, is the village by personnel policy and by union contracts has payouts for every retiree, right? So we're actually saving, honestly, more money because we're saving future dollars
Future
retirement.
liabilities.
So this year, FY '27, this budget cycle, these 18 employees are all retiring. Every department, you'll see within the budget payouts for every one of those employees within their department budget. Because we have to pay them out anyway. Whether we pay the employee for retirement in this fiscal year or the next fiscal year or the following fiscal year, we have to pay that money out. If we pay, by paying them out this year, we're actually saving future dollar inflation and salary adjustments by paying them out this year. And then rehiring those positions at lower cost. So the savings you see this year is affected by the payouts that we have to retirees for their sick time benefit, for their longevity benefit. 20 years of service, you get 3 months.
Yeah, 2 months for under 20.
Yeah, 15 years of service, you get 2 months.
Yeah.
Right? Then your sick time payout, your comp time payout, all those payouts that every retiree gets. By personnel policy and by union contract. So by having these 18 people, we have an inflated number for this year, but we're saving future dollars in that payment because we're gonna pay them anyway.
It was a liability on our books still, even if we're just paying it now. But
The other thing I want to point out too, sorry to interrupt here, but so fiscal year 27, the way that the program works, you can retire anytime between May 1st and April 30. So there are some people that are going to go in May. Darcy is one of those, but there's some people who aren't going to go until January or April of last year, so or the next year. So for those that have replacements, or even those that don't have a direct person replacing them, they're only in terms of fiscal year 27. Their salary is still 70% or 80% of that year because they're not actually leaving yet.
Okay, but what I'm saying is 18 people are leaving. Are you calculating on their savings on 18 people?
yeah, so there's
Well, really, 13 or 14 people.
so there's
Okay,
18
14 people,
yeah.
that's what we're saving on 14 people.
We're losing 4 to 5 heads in the first year, right? And we also have some stuff built in, some positions we're not gonna fill right away because there may be a position, maybe in a department where there's a new department head and they would need time to review that. But I understand what you're saying. This counts everybody that we're hiring back. It's all in there.
Right. But what I'm saying is, let's say we lose 15 people. we replace those 15 people, right? We're not saving the $350,000.
No, that's all built in.
Yeah, it
into
is.
this.
Yeah, it is. There's 5 or 6 positions, so we're not hiring, so there's 18, if we have 18 people take it, there's 1 person on the fence. We're not replacing 1-for-1 18 individuals. So there's 5 or 6 positions that we're going to be able to eliminate through, reorganizations or software changes and things that we had planned. So those salaries go away. And then part of the savings is also when, as Pete mentions on there, we're averaging out as a level 2. Most of the people retiring are topped out at level 8. So you're having people come in
$20,000
much
savings.
lower on the salary range. So that's also accounted for in there. So it's a combination of both.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Peter, do you want me to go down there and ask my question? Of the 6 positions that you're getting rid of, do we have a list of those? Are those in diligent?
So,
No,
Um,
and they won't be yet
Right,
because we're still working through the process,
yes,
and we're not gonna.
publish that.
Right.
Okay,
that would be something that we
Yeah.
could do maybe in like an executive session, because we're talking about specific people, specific
Exactly.
jobs. There's a lot of moving parts that may affect people that they're not aware that's affecting them yet.
right.
So that is not something that is public for the public yet, but we could schedule an executive session at some point to discuss it, once it's finalized.
As that should be. Yep, okay.
Board, any other questions for Peter? Okay, thank you. Is there a motion? I lost where I was. Okay, is there a motion to adopt resolution 2026-R-39? Trustee Schmidt.
So moved.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Matresco. Any discussion, board? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Light?
Yes.
Trustee Meritato?
Yes.
Trustee Matrasco?
Yes.
Trustee Viacon?
Yes.
Trustee Schmidt?
Yes.
Trustee Siddiqui?
Yes.
The motion to adopt resolution 2026-R-39 is approved. Item 3, a resolution to adopt the amortization period for the Village of Glendale Heights, Illinois IMRF Early Retirement Incentive, IMRF Employer ID number 04487. This is resolution 2026-R-40. Is there a motion to adopt resolution 2026-R-40?
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Matrasco.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Viacon. Any discussion, board? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Meritato?
Yes.
Trustee Matrasco?
Yes.
Trustee Viacon?
Yes.
Trustee Schmidt?
Yes.
Trustee Siddiqui?
Yes.
Trustee Light?
Yes.
Motion to adopt resolution 2026-R-40 is approved. Item 4, discussion.
Mayor, real
Yes.
quick, I just wanna say, Pete and Andrea and Jenny, when she came on board, you have no idea how many hundreds of hours they put into this, because it's not something that just happened in a week. I mean, they've been working on this for 6 months. And, I mean, literally, the amount of work they put into this has just been, I don't have words to honestly explain how much effort and time they put into putting this together and putting a solid plan together for the board that is mathematically sound and physically sound, and on an org chart looks really, really good. So I just want to say thank you to both of you guys gals, for all the work you put into it, because you really thought outside the box on how to get it done.
It was Andrea's idea, so she gets all the credit.
And if it goes wrong now, you know who to blame.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Andrea, and Johnny, and Pete. Okay, moving on to item 4, discussion and approval of fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. Andrea.
Thank you, Board. It's my privilege to present the fiscal 2027 budget to you and to present it alongside with my exceptionally talented and dedicated peers. This year, instead of having just the finance director present the budget, each department head will be presenting their budget. This budget reflects the village's continued commitments to responsible fiscal management, strategic investments in infrastructure and services, and maintaining the high quality of life that our residents and businesses expect. We're still on the first page. Okay. The fiscal '27 budget was developed with a focus on long-term financial sustainability, operational efficiency, and transparency, while continuing to deliver essential services and advance the priorities established by the board. The budget is a collaborative project stemming from many months, and I wish to thank all those who contributed to the process, especially my staff, 2 of which are here tonight, department heads, division managers, and administrative assistants. The village continues to maintain a strong financial position through conservative revenue projections, careful expenditure management, and strategic investments in infrastructure and technology. Taxes remain the village's largest revenue source, and these revenues provide the foundation for delivering critical municipal services to our community. Some of the highlights of this year's budget include the village's property tax rate will fall to 7.499%, the lowest in more than 10 years, and you'll hear me say that quite a few times, reflecting the village's commitment to minimizing the burden on taxpayers while maintaining financial stability. This budget includes the village's early retirement incentive program, which will substantially decrease long-term personnel obligations and provide opportunities to improve operation efficiencies. The '27 budget continues the village's commitment to maintaining and improving infrastructure through targeted capital investments, and the budget reflects a careful balance between maintaining strong fiscal stewardship and making necessary investments in the village's future. On the next page, I have our strategic plan, and the budget reflects the village's commitment to achieving its strategic goals, and throughout the presentation, each department will tie their strategic goals to their budget. Preparing for next year's budget is a long process that begins in October when the upcoming year's property tax levy is calculated. In January, departments input their requests into our software system, which are deliberated throughout February and March with Doug, Jenny, and myself. Doug, Jenny, and I then meet 2 by 2 with board members at the end of March for a preliminary view of the upcoming budget. Any changes that stem from the meetings are incorporated into the final draft, which is before you. This final draft does have revisions from the ones that I sent out on March 19th. Tonight we'll begin with a high-level overview of revenues. The information presented includes all primary government funds, which are all the funds except for police pension, Giving Glendale Heights, and a police escrow account. Police pension is shown separately, as the village can't use any of the village's financial resources. This year's revenue estimates are within 1.3% of our fiscal '26 estimate, and we made projections on a more conservative side. The slide shows revenues by category, and some may seem a little bit unfamiliar, so I will give examples. Those are charges for services, miscellaneous revenues, and other financing sources or uses. Charges for services simply are charges the village collects, like for your water bill, providing a high school resource officer to the high schools, and for weed cuts. Miscellaneous revenues include our carnival proceeds, bank service credits, memberships, and earnings from Bellagio Catering. Other financing sources and uses are the transfers from one fund to another to support that fund's operations. In this slide, did you have a question? Okay. In this slide, we evaluate the general fund's income sources. From a governance perspective, it's important to distinguish taxes and fees so leadership can make more strategic decisions about revenue structure, equity, and sustainability. It provides a clear picture of reliance on general taxation versus user-based funding, which is essential for evaluating fiscal policy and community impact. Moving on to property taxes, on the left-hand side, you have the history of the village's property tax rates and also the EAV values. EAV, or equalized assessment value, is the formula the county applies to your property's value to calculate your tax bill. The current EAV factor is 33 1/3%. Over the last 10 years, EAVs have nearly doubled, and the tax rate is nearly half of what it was. Moving to the right side of the screen, you'll see how much tax support is required by division in the general fund to support operations at their current service levels. The amounts are net of any fees we collect, like parking tickets and building permits. Not all divisions are displayed on that graph on the right side. An example is golf, and that's because golf's operating budget is sustained by its user fees. Any questions so far? Moving on to expenditures, we're going to start at the high-level overview again, and the overall increase from 26 to 27 is 1.85%, and these figures represent the ERI program and the planned capital projects. You'll notice that other financing sources and uses near the bottom has a large change. The general fund reduced its transfer to capital projects because the village has a very healthy reserve in the capital projects fund to cover $3.6 million in projects in 27. So here's where we start to get a deeper dive of the budget, and we'll start with the first division, which is non-divisional. This division is where we record our tax income, one charge for service, which is our cable TV franchise fee, and the transfers to and from other funds. So looking at the operating budget variance near the bottom, you'll note that taxes increased 5.9%, mostly due to the home rule rate change that went into effect January 1st. And again, other financing sources declined substantially because we're going to consume some of that fund balance that's in the capital projects fund. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jenny.
Thank you. So I'm going to go over a couple of the division budgets here. The first one that we have up is the legislative department, which this department is all of you. For this year, you'll see several different goals associated with each department. I'm not going to review every single goal for every single department, but I'll kind of highlight a couple, especially the ones that have budget implications moving forward, because you've seen a lot of this before. So for fiscal 27 for legislative, legislative is broken out into two different divisions, which is legislative again, and then the civic engagement piece. So on the legislative side, there's been an increase in the budget for some of the expenditures, primarily to include the IML conference. There were a couple people that attended last year and wanted to attend again. And as well as inclusion of an expense for the marketing WGN's hometown, WGen hometown showcase, where they come out and do a special overview of your community that you can use for marketing and economic development and for residents and things like that. So both of those are included in this budget. In terms of the civic engagement division, the big items there is actually the residential facade grant program, which was previously discussed. And actually, that was an idea that came from a presentation at IML. So you can see how those all tie in together. But other than that, those are the main changes. It's relatively status quo in terms of no additions to personnel or anything else like that. Are there any questions about legislative? Okay. So we'll move on to village administration. And so within that, we have administration, human resources, public relations, and information systems. And I'm going to go a little bit further into the next page here, which is the village administration division. Here we have an increase for salaries, some of which is myself. This includes a full year of the AVA position, which was not in the previous year's budget, as well as we have a personnel member looking to, that wants to take advantage of the ERI, so the costs for that are applied in there as well. And then we're also projecting some reduced expenses associated with legal reviews based on some internal changes that we made. So we expect that cost to go down. In terms of goals for this year, one of the things that is in here includes additional licenses for diligence so that we can expand the use out of that to other boards and committees so that we can have everything kind of talking to each other and in one place. Right now it's a little bit scattered. And you know, we're really focused in the administrative division on implementing the ERI for the next year, finalizing the strategic plan, as well as working with the board to kind of realign the board meeting schedule and committees and approvals and kind of look through the different things that we require because we require them versus things that are legally required, you know, by the state or some other agency, and talk through kind of what the board's goals are and how we can align a meeting schedule and process that's more effective for everybody. Any questions on administration? All right, human resources. So for this year, it's pretty standard budget, no major changes with personnel. We do have somebody in human resources that will be taking the ERI, but we're replacing, that's gonna be an upskilled position. And the only new item in this budget really is training for quarterly leadership training for succession planning and for our supervisors. Other than that, the big news in human resources is the ERI, which you heard all about. Any specific questions there? No? Okay, I'm gonna let David come up and talk to you about public relations.
Hi, board. So public relations, our budget really isn't gonna change all that much. A lot of our programs are in place already and our memberships. A lot of the contractual stuff we're really not gonna see any major increases in any of our products that we present. So a lot of ours is just aligning our goals with the strategic plan moving forward. Some of the things that I just wanted to mention is the launch of our AI-based website chatbot. We're in the preliminary or really final stages of testing and moving through with that product, along with a Village of Glendale Heights app that we're working with Finance and Public Works that we'll be launching shortly for that. And then with the new Director of Leisure Services starting shortly, we're also gonna be working on a marketing communications plan with the Leisure Services Department. All of these kind of fall in line with strengthening organizational effectiveness by promoting transparent, responsive governance and continuously improving village operations to deliver reliable, high-quality services that reflect community priorities and build public trust. And then the other couple things I want to make note for public relations specifically is a sponsorship program to hopefully bring in some additional revenue for our Leisure Services Department. Banner program we're working on, that'll be a yearly sponsorship program for banners that are different fields and facilities, along with some larger scale sponsorship packages for different events, different programs throughout the year. And then, and of course, as we all know, the Inside the Heights Civic Academy, which is underway. So a lot of these are about the outreach side of what we do in public relations. Some of them are currently going, and some of them are moving through the calendar year. That's what I have.
Thank you. Okay, information systems. So We have an employee and information systems that's going to be taking advantage of the ERI, so you see those costs budgeted. That's really that's the one kind of major change. A lot of the expenses that are vary year to year are within the capital project space, which are not as part of that categorical summary that you see. But I just wanted to mention a couple of those, and one is the transition to Microsoft 365 that we're looking at this fall. So we're in the process of working with departments so that we have the ability to enhance and improve collaboration, communication between all the departments. And then this year happens to be the year that we need to replace all of the mobile laptops that are in the police officers' vehicles. So all of those are scheduled to be replaced this year. And we're also looking at adding some additional space over at Public Works for their data cluster, because they're starting to run out of space, so we're gonna be evaluating that as well. In terms of IS, as you know, big picture wise, I'm currently working with the staff and our contractor, Prescient Solutions, to lay out a 3-year strategy for IS and where we'd like to see us go as an organization. We haven't done this in the past, and just this last month, I started a new IT committee user group where the power users from each of the departments have a place to meet and discuss issues with IT, where we can start conversations about, you know, different projects that we're working on, like the Microsoft 365 project, you know, talking about licenses we need and things like that in order to improve communications, and also start to identify, you know, what are the main sticking points, you know, what are the things that you wish you could have, you know, do you wish that this software could talk to this software, or what, you know, what are the things that are causing a little bit of, you know, issues for you operationally, and what can we do within the IT department and to help, you know, make everything more efficient for everybody. So that's what we'll be really focusing on this year, and when we come into next year, we'll have more specific goals for IT in terms of what all that looks like. We just had the first meeting regarding the 3-year IT plan last week. So we'll be continuing to talk about that as things evolve.
Quick question.
Yeah.
The the rugged mobile for the police department, are those rented or are those we own them?
We own them.
We own them.
We purchase them every 5 years.
So what do we do with the ones that,
Sell them.
so we actually do get something for them?
No, we try to.
And we can't rent those, right?
No, you don't wanna rent those.
Okay. And it's all of them get replaced at the same time?
Yeah, so however many years ago, we went to laptops into squad cars. You couldn't just put, it was all or nothing. You couldn't just put half the squad cars with computers.
Oh,
So
agreed,
we had to buy
agreed.
them all at the same time, which means they're all in the same replacement
So they're all
program year, right? So once they come out of warranty, we buy new ones.
Got it, okay.
And they're rugged, they're the rugged
Yeah.
Dells, right, we buy Dells. They're the rugged laptops, so they last a little bit longer, I hope. But they're, I mean.
They take a beating.
They're 4 or 5 year computers.
So, do we, when we sell those ones, the old ones, or?
Yeah, I mean, we sell them on gov deals, I mean, whatever we get for a 5-year-old computer.
Okay, but before we do we wipe out the
Oh, yeah,
data? And how, do we pay for that?
No, we do it in-house.
In-house, okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, I'm going to hand it back over to Andrea.
Thank you, Jenny. I have to say, my department is by far the best department in the village. And we're working to meet the strategic goal to strengthen organizational effectiveness. We have quite a few goals displayed, but how we plan to do that is by completing multiple software phases of our new system, revisiting our old purchasing policies and thresholds to align with best practices, and like all other departments, we are going to evaluate or restructure as our retirements occur. My budget reflects spending on strategic goals by ways of investing $33,000 this year in capital for our software implementation, along with additional funds for staff training on our new software. In this year's budget, I've predicted a slight downward change in investment earnings due to current market conditions and to be more on that conservative side. And expenditures, including my department's ERI costs, rose 3.3%. And here's where you'll see that increase for the extra training that I budgeted. And that extra training is going to help manage personnel changes, as more than one half of my department is retiring next year.
Quick question, the Tyler,
Yes,
we have them coming in-house to do that work, right?
It's
And
a
that's all
mix.
accounted in here?
yes, so it's a mix, and we have a existing purchase order open that has training included on it, so this is additional training that we've added to it. So, any questions on my department? Okay, I'm gonna hand it over to Jason.
So Jason, I'll just say it, you have the biggest personnel circle than everybody, you're eating the most.
Yeah, we just all
Everyone
hang
else
out.
has been pretty.
I was gonna come up and say we have by far the worst department, but I feel like,
It doesn't even look like Pac-Man.
okay, the most, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so most of our, is all, grunt work and doing work for this community. So I'll go over some of the goals, we're looking to accomplish, in the next year, and then some of the, variations in the budget from last year to, this upcoming year. Obviously, the first thing, and we've talked about this openly, is the beginning of a new comprehensive plan. Last comprehensive plan was conducted in 1995, and we haven't had any updates since other than just the land use map. So it would be a wholesale new project on where this community is and where we would like to go. Lots of public participation, lots of things like that. Overall strategies, there's many different ways you can draft a comprehensive plan. The most efficient way is we're gonna go out to bid. We've already set out the RFP to get professionals to bid and tell us what we can do. We're looking at this as almost a budget. It's usually 12 to 18 months from start to finish. So this will lap 2 budget cycles. So the main request is just for part 1. For this full year, and then when we get to mid-year next year, we'll see where we're at, who we hired, and move on from there. Some of the other goals that align with the strategic plan are working with Prologis on a industrial development and developing a new TIF along East Army Trail and Bloomingdale Avenue. We're in the midst of that project right now, but over the next year, it's going to be implemented. The plan is to get that going and then start working on economic development strategies for that. And then some of our other goals, briefly, to strengthen organizational effectiveness. We're evaluating all of our programs, rental program, our entire fee structure. Are we charging enough? When was the last time we updated fees? Are they accomplishing what we want? Those types of things are going to be looked at throughout. We're also evaluating our organization as the ERIs come in. We have a couple people, one in admin and one in inspection services, that we're either going to have to use new processes since we're instituting cloud permit. We're already kind of instituting that right now. And hopefully, some of those processes are going to get shorter so we won't be hit as hard by having less people. So overall, in terms from the admin division, so I'm in charge of both the admin division and the inspector services. So for the admin division, the comprehensive plan's in here. Also, the main variations is a full-time community development director as opposed to last year where we only had someone half the time. Also, I wanted to speak briefly on, we're requesting a part-time community development intern for the summer. Main focus will be working with code enforcement to give out grass, weed, brush, your basic stuff that's gonna come up here in the spring and through the summer that keeps us busy, that gives us the most calls, to keep our code enforcement staff doing their rental inspections, following up, getting compliance without having to go write 10 weed tickets a day, right? Or, a rainstorm comes and then 3 days later we're all out doing that. So that would be their main focus. Secondarily, on times where they don't have to be, or say we hit July and August and the weed tickets are done, we have a lot of internal work that needs to be done, scanning, cleaning of files, evaluating, closing up files, things like that, that as we make this transition to digital, they would be a part of that as well. Stuff that's been sitting around that we haven't been able to get to. One, we could use that as well as helping code enforcement. So it wouldn't really just be an inspector, it would really just be able to help the whole department. Long-term, we were hoping to develop good relationship wherever they're going to school with this person, if they're good. Maybe the next year they come back and maybe we're developing kind of a pipeline to get, new employees here, younger, and excitement about that. So that's mainly for administrative and inspection services. For the most part, these are just our inspectors. There's not been too much change other than budgeting for the ERI and increase in some other just personnel costs. As you saw, the main part of my pie chart is personnel. So when those costs go up, that's where the inspectors go up as well. But everything else is pretty status quo.
Quick question. The online cloud system that we're gonna use for permitting, is that included in your cost? Or is that already part of another system that you guys are
That's part of our costs. That's in the admin costs for services.
So we
So
just-
we pay an annual subscription to use Cloud Permit. And I believe we did a 3-year and now we're looking up in October. They're gonna start asking us, do we want 1, 2, 3 more years, what we're gonna do there. So we're gonna determine that when we get there.
And then we're just paying for the service, they take care of everything. We don't have to worry about anything other than put our stuff in.
Correct. At the moment, the contract covers the storage of our data as well as operating the software.
Excellent.
It's all cloud-based and it's through your browser, so it's all
And
cloud-based.
through your mobile phone, perfect.
And through your mobile phone, that's right. All right,
Thank you.
and we'll move on to the police department.
Chief Pappas?
You don't get paid extra for this, Mike, I'm sorry.
First of all, I want to apologize because I'm not Chief Pappas. Unfortunately, everybody's stuck with me tonight.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, your personnel actually is not as big as.
It's pretty close.
It's close.
It's close. We're up there too. So thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I was joking about being voluntold to come here. I actually volunteered. First of all, I'm Deputy Chief Mike Pentecost. Like I said, I'm not George Pappas. I'm filling in for him. He's much prettier than me. The police department consists of 3 primary divisions: administration, patrol, and then support services. Within support services, we have dispatch, records, investigations, and emergency management. Our department goals for the year align with 3 of the village's strategic goals. First one being strengthen organizational effectiveness by promoting transparent, responsible governance and continuously improving village operations to deliver reliable, high-quality services that reflect community priorities and build public trust. First, police department goals take the lead on updating the administrative adjudication fee and fine schedule. In fact, one of our sergeants is currently in Northwestern School of Staff of Police Staff and Command, and his actual staff study project he has to do for this master's level course is going to be on the adjudication fee and fine schedule. We're also looking to conduct a tabletop training exercise at department staff meetings on scenario-based incidents with the goal of mitigating any disruptions of operation, minimizing damages and losses, and facilitating decision-making in this critical incident or emergency. And finally, we want to evaluate organizational structure as retirements occur through the ERI. The second strategic goal that the department goals address is invest in a skilled and adaptable village workforce that supports a positive and engaged workplace culture and ensures the capacity to deliver core services to community. First thing we're going to do is we're going to launch a family academy to support officers and their families. We're going to develop a critical incident preparation guide to help prepare their families and loved ones should a traumatic event occur. Hopefully that never happens. And finally, to evaluate opportunities to enhance or add additional specializations and assignments to improve job satisfaction. And then finally, cultivate an inclusive and welcoming community where residents feel represented, take pride in their village, and have access to core services and quality of life amenities. So first, we want to evaluate opportunities for the police department to get more involved in special events and benevolent organizations to increase community interaction. And then we also want to incorporate America's 250th anniversary into village-wide events to celebrate and honor our country. As was brought up before, our pie chart there is a little less than community development, but the vast majority of our expenditures are personnel. And then when you throw in contractual agreements, that pushes at about 96% of our budget. Taking a look at the revenues on there, revenues are a little bit down this year, and that's mainly because there's several grant opportunities that we've used in the past that have not been opened up yet this year. We anticipate those opening up within the budget year, and we will apply for those. Two of those grants being the body-worn camera through the state, and also the recruitment and retention process that we have used in the past. So moving on to the administrative division, you see the variance on this is mainly an increase in DuPage merit fees, cost to train a new District 16 school resource officer, and an increase in lease prices. We're placing 3 vehicles this year through Enterprise, and the lease fees have gone up. Also, in keeping with the village's strategic plan, we're initiating 2 new programs. One of those being Raising Flags to New Heights, and an ID bracelet program for medical alerts. That once the budget is approved, Tanya Mack will be working on those to get those up and running. In addition, the police department is purchasing a UTV. I don't know if anybody has been at Fest the last couple of years. You've seen the police department has borrowed one from other agencies. We are actually going to be getting our own. And if everybody remembers, a few years ago, we had that major storm. That UTV really helped us out as far as transporting people to shelter and helping people stay out of the rain during that storm. We are actually using asset forfeiture funds for that, so that is not a budgeted item. Asset forfeiture funds are controlled by state statute, and they can never be used for budget. They have to be used for purchases such as this. This is one of the exceptions for that. Moving on to patrol.
Deputy Chief?
Yeah.
Quick question. Is this like the exact one?
That is the model. The only difference is once we get it, we're gonna outfit it. It's gonna have lights,
Okay,
siren, police markings on it to identify Glen
Got it.
Hills Police Department.
okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Can I ask one quick question? Did you say we're adding an extra officer to District 16?
Not an extra one. We're replacing the one that's currently in there. Our school resource officers rotate in and out. They do a 5-year stint and then they come out.
Sorry, I thought you said added an extra, that's why I was asking.
Actually, explain the rotation though and who's going where.
It's a 5-year rotation. Officer Ryan Sheehan was the District 16 school resource officer. He is actually moving over to 15 due to the younger age of some of our officers. They have not reached the level to actually put in for that spot. So we're actually moving Ryan over. There's a transition period for a year to go to District 15, and he gets to see what the other district is like. And then Officer Marco Lamabeo, who's actually one of the officers receiving an award tonight downtown, is now going to be District 16. So District 15 is getting a nice experienced school resource officer, and District 16 is getting Marco Lamabeo, who grew up in the system, school system here, and is also one of those. I mean, he's a documented hero. I can't say more. I'm so proud of that.
Absolutely. Was he in 16 when he was here or 15?
15.
I thought he was in 15, so he'll go over to 16. No, that's...
He's not in right now. Marco Lamabeo's in patrol division.
No, when he was a student here.
I think it was 15.
15?
Yeah,
That's what I thought
he
was
started at
15.
St. Matt's and then went in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Officer Bernal,
He's going back to the patrol division.
Back
His
to
time is
patrol.
up, so he'll go
Okay.
back to the patrol division. So he'll bring in the same knowledge of all the kids and,
right.
his great community-oriented policing skills that he has back out to the street.
And Officer Jimenez stays
He's
at-
still in high school. He's due to rotate out next year.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I've got one more question.
Sure.
I heard something, and maybe this is not the case yet, but I heard about there's going to be a change in the FOIAs for the body cams. Is that something that is actually coming through, or is that just speculation right now?
There's legislature out that they're looking at passing.
Purely speculation.
Okay.
I don't know that the Illinois State Legislature is gonna change anything. We're hopeful that they make some changes to the FOIA law when it comes to body cams, cause it's
Very expensive.
overly intrusive to the time spent by the police department to download video every day for people who wanna post it on YouTube. But there's like a dozen bills down in Springfield right now about that. We'll see if any of them pass.
Okay, I was just curious, I heard something and that would have been a great
There
thing.
are some YouTubers who are making good money with
Sure.
this, yeah.
At the taxpayers' expense of our record
Yeah.
staff.
All they do is FOIA and then all they have to do is to edit those videos and post it.
So think of it this way, if somebody puts a, well, I know we're right off topic, but
Sorry.
somebody puts a FOIA request in for an arrest, and there's 3 officers on arrest with 3 hours of body cam footage each, plus the booking footage, right? You're looking at 12 hours of body cam footage and booking footage, right? It's about an hour of employee staff time for every hour to download something. So that's 12 hours of employee to download one FOIA.
Have we seen a reduction now that they have to put the naming on the FOIA? The request?
Not really.
No, okay.
No, not really.
Okay. Sorry, thank you.
Can
So-
we copyright the FOIA video that we release?
They put a watermark, you're able to put a watermark on it.
But I mean.
No, we can't.
Copyright it.
No, it's public. Right? Everything we do is subject to public record.
So moving on to the patrol division. So obviously the biggest cost in every department across the board here is personnel, which, was already mentioned before. You have collective bargaining agreements, cost of living adjustments, you have severance packages, and obviously rising healthcare costs, health insurance costs, that we kind of affects that, makes it go up. And one of the biggest variances in the patrol division for this budget year is last September, the board approved the signing of a new contract with Axon, which raised that up with new body worn cameras, new tasers, and one of the essentials for FOIAs, which would be the redaction software that records use that shortens that time. Without the redaction software, before we had that, those FOIA requests were twice as long. I had to do one for Chief Flynn at the time, way back when, and it was a pain. And then also, we, with the DDRIS, for law enforcement loves their acronyms. So this one stands for DuPage Emergency Dispatch and Operable Radio Systems. We replaced all our radios this year, and that raised the fees, went up that year, increased the fee went up from $2,263 to $7,112. That's something that we just get told what we have to pay. And also, we have 4 officers. DuPage County Chiefs of Police Association started an honor guard program. And we have 4 officers assigned, and we have to outfit them with honor guard uniforms. Any questions on the patrol division?
Mike, if you could just add under contracted services on page 27, the increase to ACDC.
Yes, that was under support.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Are you not there yet?
No.
I'm sorry.
that's right. So moving on to support and investigations. The only really variance with investigations is DuPage County Stationary's protocol for blood draws. So if you have somebody driving under influence of alcohol and you want to do a blood draw, you have to use the phlebotomy service, and that service went up in price. So that's the variance with that. So also, as Village Administrator Flint brought up, with the support, ACDC contracted services via a contract went up 19.15%. So that really explains that jump there. And then we also went down a little bit too, because our iTouch, which is the fingerprint machine that when somebody gets arrested, we fingerprint them. We also use the machine also too when people come in for fingerprints for like schools and stuff, liquor licenses. Last year we had to pay for an upgrade. That's not needed this year, so that was actually removed from the budget. So that was a decrease. And then finally, ESDA. With ESDA, last year we had to pay for battery box changes for the emergency sirens. That's being removed from the budget this year. And then we added, we've been without a part-time ESDA coordinator for most of last year. We are anticipating filling that position this year, so we had to add a full year's salary in. So if anybody knows anybody, we're looking for somebody.
And it's the full-time position?
It's a part-time.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, because it doesn't look like
No, it's
it's
part-time.
minimum wage.
It's a part-time, and as, you know, that's gonna be, whoever comes in, we're looking to redo our whole emergency operations plan and update it. So, any questions?
I have a question. We added 2 CPAs to the village. Did we add any attorneys to the police department?
No,
Do we have any attorneys in the police
we
department?
use the village attorneys if we have a legal question.
Okay.
Or we have free legal through our insurance, village insurance also too, that we utilize on occasion.
We don't use them, Peter, though. Just kidding.
As he sits there quietly.
You know, Peter, I always like calling you. You actually answer the phone when I call. Unlike the chief. No, I'm kidding, chief. Any more questions?
Thank you, Deputy Chief.
Thank you.
Great job.
All right, good evening, Board, Mayor. You guys know I'm Jeff McCumber, Director of Public Works. I'm gonna provide you an overview of the budget for Public Works, and that's gonna include the Environmental Fund, MFT, and our Capital Fund. Before I start with the overview, on page 1 here, we have our goals for FY '27 I'd like to review with you. One of them is to evaluate organizational structure as retirements occur through ERI. I think that's the theme throughout the village this year with everybody, evaluating their department, see what their needs are. Second is to collaborate with Leisure Services to improve communications and operations following the move of Parks Division to Public Works. We're also gonna lead the Simons property park improvements. And we're gonna collaborate with Leisure Services to undertake a parks master plan, which is gonna include all the parks and a couple of designated properties for potential capital planning for those properties. Gonna work with a consultant to create the first capital improvement plan for the village using Capital Vision Committee to assist with guidance and community priorities. We're gonna complete a UV disinfection project at the WWTP to remove the hazard of chlorine and reduce the chemicals that we use throughout the year. And lastly, and I think this is a village-wide one, we're gonna incorporate America's 250th anniversary into village events to celebrate and honor our country. And then there on the right, as you can see, under Public Works, we have Public Works Administration, Streets, Fleet Services, and Parks and Facilities. And as the pie chart shows for most divisions, payroll and personnel expenses is the greatest percentage. Second is capital, and third is our contracted services. PW admin. We had a couple variations in the budget. Personnel rose, that's due to, we're having a deputy director for a full year. He was only here for part of the year. And our early retirement incentive and separation of some of the employees. Additionally, we have some contracted services that went up. There's a project going on throughout town on North Avenue. The village is gonna be responsible for paying the upgrades to traffic signals at President and the one by Menards.
Is that just a
And
one-time?
Bloomingdale Road, yes.
Is that just a one-time charge? This is just this time, we don't have to do this again?
So what'll happen is there's an overall charge, roughly I think it's 450,000-ish, but we don't get the, once the project's done, we get final quantities, but what happens, how the state bills out is they'll bill us 80%. And then however long it takes us, or takes them, I should say, to bill us the remaining 20. It's kind of similar to an STP project. They bill you the 80% right away, you get that bill pretty quick. But then after that, you could be waiting for the remainder of your balance due. It's kind of hard to predict when that's gonna come out. So basically, we're gonna pay most of it up front, and then there'll be a small bill at a later date.
Is that what's here then? 80%'s here and then we still have 20%?
We budgeted 80%.
Okay.
Okay, let's see next. Okay. Next division is Streets Division. Some of the variances, again, were personnel variance due to early retirement incentive. Also collective bargaining agreement increases. Contractual services, there was a change in. We're gonna do some monitoring and maintenance contract for a project that's currently underway right now. I don't know if everyone's seen it, it's by the Armitage Creek, kind of by the treatment plant, Nowzo's Park, and behind the Shell gas station at Glen Ellen Road in Armitage. So when that project is over, we will sign an agreement with our engineer. Part of getting grant funding for when you do projects like stream restoration is you have to maintain it for a period of time. So that's why the contracted services were adjusted this year to account for that. And commodities also increased due to anticipated cost adjustments in road salt and chemicals. Some of the projects, capital projects we're gonna undertake in streets, we're gonna do crack sealing this year. We are gonna finish the impound lot expansion in-house. I don't know if anyone's been by the shop, the guys have done a real nice job. I don't know if they've seen the size of the area that's involved with that, but they've done a real nice job. Matter of fact, they're getting ready to pave it. And they'll put a fence up and we should be done, and that's gonna help out the PD tremendously. We're gonna do a sidewalk program, which will be a contracted program for $250,000. An in-house sidewalk program for $30,000. We're gonna do some regrading at Seams Park to try and make that drainage a little bit better, so we can hopefully play soccer a little bit more on that, in that area. And then we're gonna do the road program, which is the big one, and we're gonna do an STP project. Mill Pond will be rehabilitated from Schmel Road to President Street.
Excuse me, we're privatizing the crack seal, right?
Yes, Pat, the crack seal will go out to bid, yes.
So, quick question. I see you have revenue. How do you guys generate revenue? Who are you guys charging?
We generate revenue from motor fuel tax, and then we also generate it from street sweeping.
Oh, okay.
We bring in, so I don't know if it's really revenue, it's kind of like a wash, but it's considered revenue.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see revenue, that's why,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Next is MFT funds. These are pretty similar year over year. This is basically the tax you're gonna get from gasoline. This helps fund a portion of the road program. We usually try to expend most of these funds every year. There may be a little bit left over, but usually there's not. Then the remainder of the funds come from the general transfer to cover the cost for the road program. And as you can see on your slide there, those are the roads projected that we're gonna do this year. We may have to shave a couple of those off and keep them as alternates. We'll see how the bid comes in. But nevertheless, they will get done the following year if they don't get done with this program. Next, we have Fleets Division. Fleets Division only had really one variance. That was basically collective bargaining agreement, adjustments and costs for healthcare and health insurance, and that's for salary adjustments. Next is Parks and Facilities. Parks and Facilities had a personnel variance due to ERI, early retirement incentive program. Insurance premium increases, collective bargaining agreement, and full year for custodian and building maintenance tech. Contracted services, they had also had a significant adjustment or variance. We ended up contracting with Hartwig Mechanical to do an assessment of all our HVAC equipment. That's here at the hall, senior center, sports hub, public works, treatment plant. They've done one round of golf course. They've done one round of inspections. I think it's been very beneficial. We've already approached admin with some of the necessary repairs that need to be made, and we're gonna do a second meeting with admin after they do the air conditioning side of it. So right now, they've only done the heating side of the units. They're gonna come back in a few weeks, do the inspection on all the air conditioning units. Some of the capital projects, we're going to do some seal coating this year. It's gonna include the complex in Reskin Park, to name a few. I believe it's also Cameron Park, and there's a bunch of others. They just are escaping me right now at the moment. Another big improvement, we're gonna be putting a new park in for Gilberto. Park will be upgraded, the new playground. We're gonna do the master plan for parks, talked about that. Veterans Park, this was originally, we proposed doing a little bit larger project, but we decided to de-scope the project this year. We're gonna just, at Veterans Park for this year, we're gonna replace the remaining bricks that we didn't have funding for, that are still kinda in poor shape. The customizable bricks that people paid for to have placed. We're gonna definitely get that done this year, but that park will also get assessed and looked at, and there's another part of that is we also applied for a grant. So the hope is if we get a grant, and maybe we can move forward and actually do some more work to that park this year. Just to fix some of the sidewalks, walking path, and maybe some of the issues. There's some granite that probably needs to be addressed at the park.
It's a pretty pricey fix. So we're waiting to see if we get the grant or not before we have to spend our money on it.
You're talking about for replacing the bricks, right?
The bricks, well,
So, yeah, there's two things.
the sidewalks that are, the walking paths are starting to crack. The granite is starting to crack. Needs a lot of brick replacement, needs a lot of sidewalk replacement, but it's specialty. It's not like the average contractor doesn't come out there and do that. You need somebody that really knows what they're doing with cement.
Yep.
And then, we gotta really figure out how we piecemeal that together, because you're gonna have new brick on top of 20-year-old brick, or 20-year-old sidewalk. So, we've got some estimates on it. They're pretty pricey. So we've applied for a grant with the state to see if we can get some funding for that, and hopefully we do.
To continue on one of the other bigger projects we're doing, this one's been in the works for a little while. It's a PW generator, emergency generator project. It's gonna be funded half with general fund and half with environmental fund. It's about $1 million project, a little over. And so everyone's aware that will power the entire facility. That means everything. So, as an backup emergency operations center, or another place to have operational during a storm, on the other side of town, opposite of Village Hall. I think this is a fantastic project, and we're gonna finally move forward with that this year. And the last one I'll touch on is, we got an energy grant for LED lighting for most of the buildings throughout the village, with the exception of the treatment plant. The treatment plant did not qualify. It's a $123,000 project, but we're saving at least $17,000 a year in light bulbs. It's got a 10-year warranty, prorated warranty. I think it's 5-year full warranty, 10 years. So that means if the bulbs go out within 5 years, we get them for free. And the return on investment on average between all the buildings, they're a little different for each one, but I'd say on average, it's like 1.7 years, you're gonna get your money back. So not only you're saving $17,000 a year in light bulbs, you're probably saving tens of thousands in energy cost a year.
And Jeff, it's a $600,000 project.
The total cost is, the village is only paying 123. thousand. And it's like Doug said, it's around a $600,000 project if we were to do that without the grant.
Is that,
Go ahead.
is that also all the streetlights as well?
No.
No, the streetlights have been, they're already LED.
Okay.
So the biggest part of this project is in the police department. Police department has over 300 fixtures in it. Every one of these is a fixture. Every one of these would be replaced in this with LEDs. The fixtures in the police department are obsolete, meaning they were proprietary to an electric company that put in the electric. That company is no longer in existence. Every time a ballast goes out, we have to replace the entire fixture.
Yep.
The bulbs are we can no longer get the bulbs for it. We have a small supply left. We do spend about $17,000, $18,000 a year on light bulbs. This would also solve that long term. But the biggest thing is the police department, the fixtures are obsolete, and every time that ballast goes out, we gotta replace the whole thing. This is a return on investment in 12 to 15 months, and then a 10% savings every year thereafter.
Yeah, and as Doug said, I think there's 300 fixtures in the PD alone
There is.
that are proprietary that you can't get your hands on.
Are these the same?
I'm sorry?
No, these will be all changed out.
These will all be changed out.
Yep.
These balusters are still the same.
These are not
will be
the,
updated.
this is not
It's
the
just
same as the PD.
No, these are 20-year-old. They're probably still
Yeah.
go to Home Depot and buy them. But all these will be taken out. The golf course, all the lights at the golf course banquet hall will be replaced. Right? So they actually have light over there.
And 123 is what it costs to have all of them replaced and the services
Correct.
and everything for the electrician and everything, so
Yes,
there's no
correct.
additional.
Yep.
And then real quick, we are upgrading our outdoor weather systems to a 20th century system. That will give us better weather traffic, or better weather conditions, more accurate weather conditions, and just be more customizable on an app and be able to be controlled.
You're talking the Thor guards?
Yeah, it's a different, it's ThorGuard, just a different version.
We own 2 of them, one at the golf course.
We actually
and
have 5, right, Keith?
Isn't it
Where
the
are
parks
they?
as well? Yeah, we have them in the parks too.
5.
You have one on the pool, you got one at the golf course, one
Yeah.
at Hamlet Park, you got one at
Ruskin,
Ruskin, and you have one that's somewhere not being put up at Nazos
Nazos.
because the
Yeah,
water pollution control plant causes issues to it.
so all 5 of those are getting replaced?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. I've been only 2.
Do you guys have any other questions on any of the capital projects or any of the divisions I talked about? Because if not, I'll move on to environmental fund. Nope, all good? Okay. All right, so environmental services department, as you can see, I found this a little interesting myself, that this pie chart's a little different than the other ones. We're only at 19.6% in personnel. Capital outlay is the winner for environmental. And I thought it was interesting commodities, so I guess what that tells me is it costs a lot to run a treatment plant. So no surprise, but. So the department is made up of environmental administration, water, sanitary sewer, and I just said wastewater treatment plant. Okay. Environmental admin division, there was some variance from last year. Some good news is the first variance is we're projected to collect $1.2 million in grants. One is a CDBG grant, one's a DCEO grant. So that's a good thing. Change for services, that is one of our rate adjustments for the billing. That's by ordinance, so that's why there's a variance there. Personnel, the deputy director is split between environmental and general fund, so there's a little variance for him being on the payroll for a whole year. the early retirement incentive, and collective bargaining agreement adjustments. Debt service, that's first full year of our loan repayments for our IEPA loans. So those payments have been a little bit different in the previous years, so they're a little different while construction's going on. And as you draw down on that money, you know, that changes your amortization schedule. So that's that variance for this year. And other financing sources. So basically this is, we paid off, it's a portion of some Build America bonds, 2009-10 series bonds. So that's what that adjustment's about. Moving on to the water division. So the first one is charges for services. This is the water rate changing per our ordinance that we passed a couple years ago. Personnel, same thing, increased due to ERI. Collective bargaining agreements, insurance premium adjustments, contractual services. We reduced the scope of engineering. We actually have a year where we actually reduced our engineering, which is good. And then commodities, we always have to make an adjustment because we buy water from the DWC, DuPage Water Commission, and we wait for their rate to come out, and it usually goes up, it usually doesn't go down, so. As far as capital projects on the water side, there was a capital project to redo a Windy Point metering station, gonna rehab a pressure adjusting station, and we're gonna decommission one on Whitman Drive. If you guys don't know, that infrastructure was put in, I would say, start 1989, 90, 91-ish, on that time frame. So this is your basic maintenance to upgrade that, make sure the stuff stays in working order. The only difference with this project is the one on Whitman. They must have had some different thoughts when they put this in, that it was gonna be a need to maybe have a third pressure zone. It is not needed. We have not used that infrastructure in the 35 years I've been here or prior to that. So that's why we're decommissioning it and we're gonna remove it. We're doing a big water main project this year. Jacobson Avenue water main replacement. Like I said, I'm hope to be successful in getting $600,000 CDBG grant for that. We should find out, I'm hoping in the summer, a little earlier than we did for this past one. That's a $2.1 million project. In-house, we're gonna put a piece of water main in East Court. It's a problematic piece of water main. Plus, the court needs rehabilitation sooner than later. We are actually gonna put that water main in-house. It's a couple 100 feet. The guys are gonna put that in-house, so try and save some money. They were gonna buy $75,000 worth of portable leak detection loggers. These are additional loggers that are gonna go throughout the system to be a part of the, I think he's got 100 right now, loggers. That they all talk to a software package, and it's on a computer, and it gives them, basically monitors the system for leaks. Tells them the severity of the leak. Is it critical? Do they need to go out and fix it? So that's what that's for. And then they have a small SCADA improvements project, and that was a recommendation in our master plan. So we have a separate master plan for our SCADA, which is basically the computer software that monitors water, sewer, wastewater treatment plant.
Jeff, before we move on, is the software related to the prediction of the main breaks that we discussed?
I'm sorry?
That software that you had shared with me that was gonna be like a predictive software to look for.
Oh, the AI?
Yeah, is that part of?
So I have to talk with the AI consultant. He knows we have that. We're gonna try and hopefully we can incorporate that. Maybe that AI engine, it might make it work even better.
Yeah,
I have to have that further discussion with them.
but do we
You're
have,
actually gonna, it's actually gonna be at this next board meeting approval.
got it, so the
Yeah.
dollars are somewhere
Yes.
in here, that's all, that's what I'm
Okay.
looking for, thank you.
So yeah, this is a little separate than that, but this system's already up and running.
Mhm.
It's just he's buying more equipment for out in the field for it.
Yeah.
So, but I think if I know where you're going with it, I hope the AI stuff that we're gonna award next week
Yeah.
will
Well, and the RO
enhance each other. Maybe they'll work together, I'm hoping.
And the ROI on that, just alone in terms of being able to predict and look for these
Yes.
main breaks before they happen, in terms of the labor and the resources and the impact to the community, it's worth it.
Yes, I mean, an average main break, I mean, a very small leak in your toilet overnight, you'll run through 400 or 500 gallons of water. So when they're out in the system, you know, we're paying $5.09 per 1,000 gallons, and everyone goes, well, 1,000 gallons is a lot of water. Well, no, it's not when you don't know it's leaking and it's in the ground, and before you know it, you just spent tens of thousands of dollars in water that just made a mud puddle or something, you know, or something you didn't see, so. Does anyone have any other questions before I move on to sewer? Okay, sewer division. Charges for services is another charge that's on the water bill for sewer through our ordinance, so there was an increase there. Personnel, the ERI, early retirement incentive program, so there's an increase. Also, collective bargaining agreement adjustments and costs for insurance premium increases. And then we had a decline in engineering due to the amount of capital projects we're doing in the sewer division this year. So for the sewer division this year, we're gonna do I'm gonna call it the second phase of lining North Avenue. And I'm not sure if everybody knows or not, but we have infrastructure in North Avenue, sewers, from Bloomingdale Road to, I'll call it Bloomingdale Road to Menards, and then from just east of Glen Ellen Road to the river. The reason I bring it up is those are original infrastructure prior to when North Avenue was expanded. So that stuff was probably put in the ground, I would say the early 70s is my best guess, because that's when the lift station was put in. When they came through and they did the expansion on North Avenue, that infrastructure was not changed. It was just left alone. So the problem is, especially when you get closer to Menards, some of the sewers are in the middle lane in North Avenue. So the thinking is, we've already had some of the manholes, we had all the manholes assessed from Bloomingdale Road to the river, and some of the televising done prior. We finished televising all the lines just recently, and have had some of the manholes relined and 4 or 5 sections lined. But I approached Doug and I said, I think it's very beneficial to have this infrastructure taken care of sooner than later. It's concrete asbestos pipe. It has a tendency to degrade on the inside. And you want to get to it before the structure, the integrity of it goes to where it can't be lined. And if you line it, and you're looking at another 75 to 100 years, you're gonna get out of that piece of infrastructure. So the idea of doing this in phases, obviously, you know, not to eat up all our budget, it can be done in phases if you get to it early enough. And it'll be a benefit to the community because it'll all be sealed up, it'll be like brand new pipe in the ground, and you're not digging up North Avenue. So that's why we're gonna try and get that accomplished. So we had money this year, that is just gonna get awarded, I think, coming up here. So that's technically phase 1, but we'll get to this second phase probably sooner than later. We're also, like I said previously, we're covering half of the PW emergency generator project out of the environmental fund. There's a small project for SCADA improvements, and they're buying 1 new vehicle through the enterprise program.
Excuse me, so we're gonna be going underneath North Avenue?
Pat, that they are in North Avenue, but we'll be able to line them. So we'll run a liner through them, and it's like having a brand new pipe.
Underneath North Avenue?
Yep, so they'll have to close down a lane, the contractor will, But they run a liner through there, it's like having a brand new pipe in place.
That pipe goes to the shopping center
I'm sorry?
under North Avenue.
Right, yes.
So we are not digging the North Avenue?
No,
No.
no. This work's done from above ground.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, so, just for, Pat would know, if we have a sewer line break under North Avenue, I don't know how many feet of cement and everything else there is
A lot.
that North Avenue is.
Lot.
But it's probably a 7-figure number to tear up North Avenue with all the lane closures to fix a sewer pipe.
Because the sewer
It's our
is deep.
responsibility to fix.
Yes, sewer's
So
deep
it's
as
not
well.
states?
No,
Although it's
stop.
a state road?
Stop.
No, yeah.
I don't think IDOT's gonna do it. I can verify that, I can verify that.
No, they decided to upgrade their electrical system and send us a bill for it.
Yeah,
Oh, that was kind.
Right.
yeah.
Any more questions? Okay, last division, wastewater treatment plant. The first variance we have is charges for services. This charge is based on some better data we've collected for permitted industries in town. So there's like 14 businesses that have wastewater treatment plant. They have permits, discharge permits. They get billed a surcharge on their water bill. So that's what that number represents. We anticipate collecting more revenue this year for that. The idea of that funding is it's supposed to pay for our pretreatment program. That burden shouldn't really be put on residents and stuff, it should be on the businesses. They're the ones that need the permit, they need to follow the rules, so that's why that's on their water bill and not everybody else's.
So if I'm looking at the right line, it's 14,000 and then it's dropping to 5. Did somebody stop? They're no longer gonna pull the permit? Is that what you're
Which one
referring to?
Are you looking at charges for services?
In the bottom table, trustee.
Revenues, permits.
I was looking at revenues, there's fines and forfeitures, and then there's permits. You got 5,000 for 27, and then in 26 you had 14,000.
No, it's the charges for services is the 201, it's a surcharge that's on their bill that they get charged. And that's the significant change for this year.
The
The line item that's-
permit is something completely different.
Okay, I thought you said
Yeah.
permits, and I saw the number
Well,
drop, that's why I was
it's
asking if
based off-
somebody left.
Yeah, it's based off of them having an industrial wastewater permit. I guess that, I should have reworded that a little bit.
It's okay.
So the 14 that have discharge permits get this 201 per thousand surcharge on their water bill. And then that's that number we're projecting, the $133,787 number. And that number is supposed to help offset the costs of our pretreatment coordinator, any of the sampling we have to do in town. There's adjudication, there's administration time, there's all kinds of things that go into that, so. Personnel also changed, just like the others did for ERI. Collective bargaining agreements, insurance premium coverages that are going up. And then contractual services. This basically is projected to go down just based on trends that we've seen. And a reduction in biosolids disposal services. Some of the projects for the treatment plant this year, the main one being UV disinfection. We have tried terribly hard, along with our engineer, to get a low interest loan for this. I think I've talked about it before. Unfortunately, we've been unsuccessful. We do and are applying for a small grant. See if this project applies. It's actually some money we got awarded back in 19 from the DCEO. It's only $185,000, but we're going through that process. As a matter of fact, Mayor, I have to send some paperwork up to you to sign, so I'll get that up to you. Anyway, this project, I'm glad the project's moving forward. This project has been a long time coming, and it's a little nerve-wracking. I think you guys all know we carry 2,000 pounds of chlorine right next to a school, and to get rid of that and have this in place, I think it's a fantastic idea. It serves the community well. We'll still have to have a little bit of chlorine on site, but it's for excess flow, and it's only like 150 pounds. It's a lot different than carrying a 1-ton cylinder on hand all the time, so. This is gonna improve, plant operations as well. So I'm really glad it's gonna finally move forward.
So does that mean it's 1.8 this year and then 1.8 next year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. There's influent pump repairs we're gonna do. Those are pretty standard. Those pumps run 24/7 on a rotation. They run a lot, they get wear and tear. What's another big one? There's excess flow tank rehab. There's a couple tanks on site that are very old from 1959. They have some signs of structural issues. The painting's in bad shape. There's actually lead-based paint on them. That's another issue. And there's some issues with the safety that these guys have to climb up some shipman type stairs. So we are doing one of those projects this year, and we want to start the process of doing the second tank next year. So that's what that project's for. And then he's gonna do, there's a SCADA master plan project for $103,000 we're gonna do.
I have a question.
Yes.
I think you or Doug spoke about this. Is that sludge, the excess, no, I'm sorry, the sludge handling upgrades? Is that where we have to hold something for 3 months? Is that what that project is?
That's not part of this budget though.
Okay, when is that one?
So that's a topic, it's not really due. That's a deep conversation, I think, to figure out exactly what the approach is, where the money's coming from, land
Well,
use.
that's not something we have to.
That is gonna be a strong conversation later this year, when we get the capital plan all figured out, and we have all of our engineering done for all these projects, to come to the board to talk about how do we finance that,
Okay. so
right? Cause
that's
you're
what
looking at a
that's
$20 million project,
Yes,
right?
that's
But
what I was looking.
we gotta have everything in place first before we come to the board.
Okay.
There is one last page that has some more projects on it, per the wastewater treatment plant capital plan. I just wanted to run through one to show you guys how expensive, like commodities or things you have to purchase are at the treatment plant. So if you go down in the first column under FY '27, it'd be page 39. If you go down to disc filter cassettes, that's money to replace a set of filter cassettes in one of our disc filters. And that's about how much it is to do one filter.
That's
And there's 3 of them. This is just maintenance. Now, they did a very, I would say, exceptional job of making these filters last, because the expected life of them is around 10 years. They got put in 2010, and it's 2026. So they did a fantastic job with cleaning them the right way. There's a procedure for cleaning these, making sure they're maintained. So they did a phenomenal job. But just so everyone is aware, this stuff is expensive, because that's like $2,000 for one of them, and there's 200, so that's just to give you an idea of kind of like when we looked at the pie chart, that little offset between how much personnel costs on the environmental fund side as opposed to other divisions or departments throughout the village, so.
So by doing that, we won't have another charge for this for 10 years because they've done that much work? And is that what?
You're
that's why
basically
there's nothing else?
rehabbing it by replacing all those cassettes. There's other pieces on the unit. I mean, don't get me wrong, but that's the main filter media that lasted. So I would expect that to last at least another 10 to 12 years, because it's almost like brand new. So, but it's just, it's a hefty cost.
Yeah,
So,
that's pretty impressive.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Keith, bring us home. Right. Cause you're the quickest. Losing the board.
All right, as already mentioned, I'm last, so they did tell me I get till 9 o'clock, so that's great, I'm ready.
Bite your tongue.
Oh, well, it was worth a try. Again, I'm Keith Knaus, Director of Leisure Services, and I will be presenting the last budget, the Leisure Services budget. The Glendale Heights Leisure Services Department is dedicated to providing the community activities, programs, and events for residents of all ages that are fun, affordable, engaging, and safe. The Leisure Services Department is made up of 5 divisions for budgeting purposes: administration, special events, recreation, golf, and the senior center. A brief overview of the department's budget is included in this slide, which shows that I too don't have as much in the personnel cost as others. But I do have a really large capital part for this year, which I will delve into at a later time. A brief overview of the department budget, a brief overview of the fiscal year 27 department goals for leisure services. These goals include creating a 5-year strategic plan for leisure services that includes programming, events, and a communication plan, implementing a resident rate for Glendale Heights Fest, and investigating working with the library to offer a discount for kids participating in their summer reading program, hosting the first health and wellness 5K in partnership with the mayor's office, and collaborating with the village board to create and implement a Unity Day in the village. These goals all align with the strategic plan goal of cultivating an inclusive and welcoming community where residents feel represented, take pride in the village, and have access to core service and quality of life amenities. Other goals include some of the goals that Public Works talked about. We have the same ones, dealing with the Simons Park improvements and an update on the Parks Master Plan. These both tie to the strategic plan goal of maintaining and enhancing parks, recreation, and related infrastructure to support a connected, accessible, and welcoming place for the residents and families. And we have one of the biggest things, a goal for 2027 is to work with Public Works to improve communication and operations following the move of the Parks Division to Public Works. This goal ties to the strategic plan goal of strengthening organizational effectiveness by promoting transparent, responsive governance and continuously improving village operations to deliver reliable, high-quality services that reflect community priorities and build public trust. The Leisure Services Administration Division is the division responsible for the oversight and direction of the division, as well as the registration of programs and expenses specific to the Recreation Division. This division has no major purchases planned. Minor operating budget variances can be seen in charges for service, where the increase is due to cricket fields being open for a longer time this summer, and an increase in personnel costs due to ERI separation costs, insurance premium, wage increases, and the addition of an office tenant. The Special Events Division is responsible for most of the special events that take place in the village throughout the year. This division has planned new events, including the Move with the Mayor Community Bike Ride, Unity Day, and the Health and Wellness 5K, along with other annual events including Glendale Heights Fest, the annual Show and Shine Car Show, the Fishing Derby, and many, many more. Also a tie-in to the 250th anniversary of the United States. Operating budget variances for this division include increases in grants and donations due to expected sponsorship increases for some of the newer events that I just discussed, a decrease in charges for services due to conservative estimates, an increase in miscellaneous revenue due to an increase in anticipated fest income, and a decrease in contracted services due to fest estimates per contracts and other special events costs. The Recreation Division offers safe, high-quality programming for people of all ages. This past year, we saw increases in youth sports and pool visits, and we are looking forward to continuing that momentum while continuing to add new programming and evaluating current programming. This division has operating budget variances, including an increase in personnel costs due to ERI separation. The division also has a decrease in contracted services as expenses are based on registration numbers for each program, and we anticipate some of those costs going down. Capital for the Recreation Division in the fiscal year 27 budget includes $51,000 to replace the first floor flooring. I've been practicing that for a while. First floor flooring, which is the basic hallways throughout the Sports Hub building, and $125,000 to replace the indoor turf at the Sports Hub. That turf had an estimated life when we purchased it, I believe, 11 years ago of 5 to 7, so we've gotten our money's worth out of that, and it is now time for that to be changed out. There's also $15,000 to replace 2 treadmills in the fitness center. The Glendale Lakes Golf Club Division of Leisure Services continues to offer golfers a challenging quality 18-hole public golf course for golfers from beginners to scratch. This division's operating variances include an estimated increase in charges for services, which comes about due to price increases and changes to our Friday tee time and rates. What we're doing is we're implementing a Friday rate, which is above the Monday through Thursday rate and a little bit less than Saturday and Sunday. Kind of gets us in line with a number of other golf courses that have done that, as we see a lot more people taking off Friday to play some golf. An increase in personnel comes through expected increases in health insurance and a decrease in contracted services. There is a lot of capital for the golf course in fiscal year 2027. These capital items include smaller items like upgraded lighting. We're a part of the Public Works and Facilities Plan for lighting. And one of the big things for us is that the basement where the carts are stored is worse than the banquet room when it comes to darkness. So that is a major, so there'll be some new fixtures and stuff that are included in that, which are a super necessary upgrade. We're also upgrading our burglar alarm system, as the system was put in before I arrived 25 years ago, and shockingly, technology has changed a little bit for burglar alarms. So we think that we'll have some much better coverage on that and far less false alarms. And then we're also going to improve some landscaping around the clubhouse. We do have 4 rather large items. We have $100,000 for phase 2 of the clubhouse upgrade, which will include lighting, banquet room flooring, banquet room wall coverings, and trim. We have purchase of equipment including bunker rake, gator, and sprayer for the maintenance group. We have a $20,000 driving range study that's a tie-in to the Parks Master Plan. And the big ticket in the golf course budget is the $2.1 million repair for the golf course's irrigation system. This system has outlived its estimated life by many years and is in need of replacement. This new irrigation system will add additional sprinkler heads to ensure that all tees, fairways, and greens are covered by the system. That takes me to the last of my.
Can I?
Oh, yep. Go
Can I
ahead.
ask a question?
Sure.
Where is that, the 2.1 for the irrigation?
It's not on your.
It's not on the slide.
It's not on this?
It's not on the slide. It's in the capital portion of the budget, so it's
Gotcha.
all, yeah.
Gotcha. One other question, debt services, what is that?
That's the principal and interest payment for copiers and enterprise use vehicles.
Got it, okay.
Keith, that gator,
Yeah.
is that a rental or we have to buy it?
So we cannot lease it. We did look into leasing gators through Enterprise. Unfortunately, because of the qualification of that vehicle, it's not a roadworthy vehicle. It doesn't have a VIN, so we have to actually purchase it.
Okay, thanks.
Keith, are either of those signs at the golf course being replaced in here?
So the sign that's at the front of the golf course on President is in this year's budget. We're still working on that currently. The sign on hole number 16 there is money to start the process to look at that. There's $20,000 in the budget for that.
So I have a little bit of an amendment to that. So we're, based on our discussions through the strategic planning process, there's a desire to do, the rebranding of, the village and, our logo and all those different things. So based on where we are right now, I think that's probably gonna be in the fiscal 28 budget next year. So we're gonna hold off on replacing those signs until we have the new branding done, because we don't wanna, they've been old for, they've been old for a while, and we'll replace them when we have that done, so we don't have to go back and spend a bunch of money to replace things that,
So then does that include the sign then at North Avenue and President then? That'll be rebranded as
So,
well, and all 2 of them will be replaced?
That'll have to be a discussion, because that currently is, that was paid for by Belgios. The sign was paid for by us. The upgrade to that sign was paid recently by Belgios. I think that's up for, as you're discussing the signage for that would be something to look into.
and when we get to that project, we'll have to talk about all the different things that will be impacted by the rebrand and a strategy on how to replace them. Some will be more important than others, some will wait until, that's naturally needed to be replaced. Some we won't be able to replace, and we'll lay out all those costs when we get to that point. But we decided to hold off on replacing that sign since we were gonna go through this process in a year.
And, okay, in a year?
Yeah.
So next year we'll look at all of
Yes.
those, okay.
Any other questions?
I'll waive the permit fee.
We're
sure
gonna
that
talk
wasn't in the
about
budget?
that.
Talk about
the permit fee. You got too much personnel, you need some of those fees.
Wow. All right, the last division of the Leisure Services Department is the Linda Jackson Center for Senior Citizens. The Senior Citizen Center is one of the premier senior citizen centers in the state of Illinois. The center offers comprehensive resources, innovative programming, informative sessions, social events, and exciting trips. The division's operating variances include an increase in both charges for service and contracted services, and that's due to the fact that we have 2 senior trips scheduled during the fiscal year, so that's really money that's kind of in and out. Pays for the trip and the revenue for the trip. And then there's an increase in personnel costs due to wage adjustments and health insurance increases. The senior center is looking at a number of new programs and opportunities for the year, but has no capital expenditures in this fiscal year's budget. And that brings to completion the Leisure Services Department. Anyone have any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We're just about done. The next slide is SSAs, and SSAs, we have 8 of them. There's no activity this year in expenses or projects, we just have tax revenue coming in. Next, we have TIFs, and we have 6 active TIFs right now. There's no activity in TIF 2. TIF 1 is a transfer to TIF 4, which was approved by the board at the last board meeting. TIFs 3 through 7, they have increases in property tax values, so there's a corresponding increase into the redevelopment payments. And TIF 7 has 1 new payment coming out this year, which is a redevelopment payment to Clyde's. It's the first of 10 payments for $5,000. Do you have any questions about the TIFs? The last slide is police pension. And the big difference to note here is with cash and investments. In fiscal '26, you'll see that there's a substantial amount for cash and investment income, and that's because that includes unrealized gains on our investments, which are not budgeted in '27 because it's a cash basis budget. But of course, those unrealized gains and losses will be recorded as they occur. One thing I do want to point out for police pension is at the end of fiscal '25, we were 67.9% funded, which is a lot better than a lot of our surrounding communities. So that brings us to the conclusion. Is there any questions that I can
Yeah.
answer for you?
I've got a question.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
mentioned about the percentage funded, how we're doing better than others. Are we
Yes.
where we want to be, or are we way beyond where we want to be?
No, we're above where we want to be, so we're in a solid position.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Doug, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And Andrea, you might have the answer to this as well. Leisure services, we are way negative there. Is that normal with all the other towns?
Well, any other
We
town
have
has a senior center.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, is our programming in line with all the other towns? I mean, we're so negative on this. That's what I'm looking at.
So
Hard to break that out with the senior center, right? We would have to really do an analysis of a park district recreation program to our recreation program and separate the senior center out of all of that.
And the fact that we don't tax separately on that, right?
Well, that's a big part of it. I mean, that we have a lot of cost savings relative to a park district.
Okay.
Thanks, Doug. If there's no other questions, we're going to bring the appropriations ordinance to you, the first board meeting in May for adoption. And the draft budget book is available online. I want to thank everyone for their time and great job, all the department heads. Really proud of you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, department heads, for your extra work and efforts. Board,
I just want to say thank you to Doug, the staff, everybody involved in getting the
Yeah.
budget together.
Bravo.
It was a great, this budget here is understandable to read.
I'm so happy.
I mean, I don't want to say anything
I don't know,
about
Pat, I
that.
was looking at you, you're like a little confused.
It's more easier to understand, so
I
you
like
guys
it.
did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
For the good of the board, I just want to point out page 206 of your book. This has been a page that I found helpful for me, just in terms of kind of note, like doing a little dog ear to come back to. When we think about our projects by fiscal year, having this page included in the book kind of gave me at a glance of
Which page
some of
is
the,
that?
page 206.
Of your big book.
The big book? Just thought I'd point it out for the good of the board as something to reference back when we talk about the projects and how they reach over several budgets.
We do a lot of work.
We do a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's the government capital.
moving back to our agenda, item number 4, is there a motion to approve fiscal year 2026-2027 budget? Trustee Light?
So moved.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Meritato.
So this is moving it to the board, right?
Right.
For May 7th board meeting.
Yeah.
Which is the appropriations ordinance.
Any discussion, board? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Matrasco.
Yes.
Trustee Viacon.
Yes.
Trustee Schmidt.
Yes.
Trustee Siddiqui.
Yes.
Trustee Light.
Yes.
Trustee Meritato.
Yes.
The motion to approve fiscal year 2026-2027 budget is approved. Public discussion of agenda items. Is there anyone in the public that would like to address this board on an agenda item only? Adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn? Trustee Light?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Matrasco.
Thank
Call
you
the
all
roll,
for your
please.
patience.
By the way, thank you all. That
Yes,
actually
thank you so
was
much.
amazing, and I've sat through a lot of budgets, and this was very easy, and you can see all the
I'm
hard
sorry,
work.
Trustee,
Sorry, I thought you said we were done.
I didn't get,
You didn't get the vote.
yeah, we didn't get the votes to adjourn. Can I have ayes, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.